A view of Earth from space at night shows our burgeoning reliance on energy. Older, dirtier technologies pollute our lives, challenging us to search for cleaner, more affordable and sustainably healthier technologies through renewable energy sources. South African society is burdened with a legacy of older, almost obsolete technology, relying on fossil fuels to meet the needs of an ever-stagnating economy. The result has been a predictable lack of sustainability.
The organization disappointingly incurred a net loss after tax of 20.7 billion rands.
We are now facing the death spiral.
It is the dawn of a new awakening, a collective reality rooted in the acceptance that renewable energy solutions exist in abundance in nature, the air we breathe, the sun that bakes down. This is energy. This is Greenstone energy.
Globally, governments and organizations are moving away from carbon-based fossil fuels to greener and cleaner energy sources. If you look at the uptake of renewable energy overseas, it has been phenomenal. That uptake has been slow in Africa. However, that is changing. The reason for this is three fundamental points. The price of electricity in Africa is rising dramatically. The second point is that the price of solar and gas and any alternate energy forms in the last 10 years have reduced drastically. The third point being that Africa has the highest amount of wind and especially solar radiation, including South Africa. These three fundamental points put together makes it possible that the uptake of energy in Africa will be far more excessive than the rest of the world.
Greenstone energy is based on the fundamental principle that we can provide power to the commercial and industrial sector at rates that are cheaper than national utilities anywhere in this region. What that means is that for the first time, using a range of technologies, using some very, very deep-seated competence, we're able to combine solutions, customized solutions for individual clients for on-site generation. So Greenstone would build an entire power plant, whether it's a wind, solar, gas, or hybrid, geothermal, any combination of a range of technologies, on-site for a client, and provide power that is cheaper than the national utilities can. This trend of being able to provide power on-site to clients is a trend that is that is global, that is gaining momentum, and that is inevitable. And in this country, in this region, in Africa and the Middle East in general, it is a trend that is becoming more noticeable. It's in its early stages in our part of the world.
We've discovered that there's a popular misconception that the only people who are allowed to generate energy in South Africa is Eskom. And that is not true. That there's an entire regulatory framework which allows for the private sector under various conditions to produce electricity to consumers.
Fortunately for Greenstone, legislative changes that have come about since November 2017 makes it possible for us to provide power to this commercial industrial sector, again, at rates that are cheaper than the national utility. So what does this mean? What implication does this have? For clients, in the first instance, it means they have ownership flexibility. They can decide on whether they want partial, full, or anywhere in between ownership of their power plant.
We've taken partnerships and we've gone into partnerships and strategic alliances with key technology providers and developers globally, with strategic EPC partners, as well as potential strategic finance and EPC partners, to looking at certain special purpose vehicles. With regards to technology, the advantage that this gives us is that it keeps us abreast of the latest developments in technologies. It also keeps us abreast of sourcing the best product value that we can get in terms of from a global sense.
For investors, very importantly, what it means is being involved in the early stages of what is a global trend. And we like to think it's not just a trend, but a mega trend. And the reason that we call it a mega trend, because the uptake of renewable energy is following a typical exponential curve. If I tell you the capacity that's happened, that has been built over the last 10 years in renewable energy, has more than quadrupled all the capacity that was built up to 2009. So think about that. 4 times the capacity of renewable energy has been built just in the last 10 years.
I think in the current market, considering where the situation with power is, it's actually the ideal time to invest in terms of good returns. And to back that up is that we sit in a situation currently with our power problems in South Africa, added to which, if you look at the uptake of renewable energy globally, it's an upward curve. And if you look at the cost of renewable energy, it's in a downward curve. That in itself is a perfect target for potential investors to get reasonable returns. So in the South African and African context, we are at the beginning of that growth curve compared to globally, but that puts us in, as from an investment perspective, puts us way ahead.
We offer our customers unique solutions and funding models where the customer himself has the choice to either buy power from Greenstone Energy or buy into a SPV, a joint partnership, or buy the complete system outright at any given time. The off-grid solution which we offer is quite unique because we have grid-tied solutions as well as hybrid solutions which take you completely off-grid.
An important reason why an individual should look at investing in a utility company is the nature of a utility company. It's one that goes and installs some kind of utility that somebody is going to use over a long period of time. As such, we enter into agreements where we have long payback periods or periods where people will be paying us annuity income. And this for the investor is really good because as our portfolio of projects grow, this income keeps increasing and growing on each other year on year. And our philosophy as a company is that we will pay a large portion of our retained earnings out to investors. And I think we're able to do this because we've very critically analyzed our business model, and we've de-risked it in every possible angle that we could have.
At large, the public and especially the Muslim society has been excluded from infrastructure and technology projects. So Greenstone Energy is making it possible for the public and especially the Muslim community to own a share of the provision of energy in Africa.
So Greenstone Energy is proud to be a fully Sharia compliant company in terms of all its operations, in terms of all its transactions. This investment is for everyone. And for those that are not Muslim, the safety and the comfort they should derive is the fact that Sharia compliant investments are the best performing investments.
And therefore, it is a unique opportunity for investors in South Africa to get involved in the energy sector and to buy shares in the energy sector and to own a part of the energy sector. And Greenstone is that solution.
This represents a unique opportunity, not just for this country, but again for the region, to be able to provide infrastructure and a basic commodity, a basic ingredient for the growth of the economy. And Greenstone is very proud to be able to be part of this new trend, to bring this new trend to this country and allow clients, investors, and the country as a whole to benefit.